Hey, how you doing? This is John, and welcome to John's Long Box. Today we're looking at Jonah Hex issue 11, 35 cents by DC Comics. Look at this wonderful cover. Draw Hex if you can, the holdout. So look at this. This is by Rich Buckler and Dick Giordano, the artwork on this. And this, as far as I know, this is a color guide, I think. I'm not 100% sure. If anybody could chime in and let me know. But I love these. I guess I'll talk a little bit again. I'll repeat myself, but I wasn't a fan of Western comics, and I wasn't a fan of DC Comics as a kid. I've since obviously changed my mind like a lot. To the point where I think that these 70s Western comics are some of the best comics ever produced. So there you go. Short and sweet. Here we have Curve Hugger H2 cards. Look at these. What are these? Are these matchbox? Oh, typos. Okay. So these were electric racing cars that you put. Let's look at the edition before we go first. Jonah Hex, Volume 2, Issue 11. April 1978. Look at that. So here we got, let's look at the credits. Michael Fleischer. So again, I'm really looking forward to Michael Fleischer. He's an artist now that I look up, that I'm on the lookout for. Geez, that was difficult for me to say. I've looked through my collection, and I see that I have comics that he's written before, but I never really noticed until I started reading these wonderful Jonah Hex comics. Now I'm actively looking to see if Michael Fleischer writes it. I'm at least interested. Art by Rich Buckler. I've talked about Rich Buckler a few times. Rich Buckler, I think, is one of the people that he started out with a fanzine, and I think he was instrumental in getting the first Comic-Con created. I could ask Arthur Tripp about that. And from his fanzine, he got professional work, and he's known as a professional and a chameleon. He could copy other styles. And then Dick Giordano and Friends as the inker. So they must have been a time crunch for this. Letterist Ben Oda, colorist Bob LaRose, and editor Larry Hama. I think this is like the beginning of Larry Hama's career. For those of you who do not know, Larry Hama is now like the guy on G.I. Joe. So he's the writer of G.I. Joe, and I think he created like most, if not all, of the G.I. Joe lore. I do not have any G.I. Joe comics, so I don't know that. But more importantly, he was the editor on Savage Sword of Conan, and he had like his own little corner of Marvel, and then he's the one that got Chuck Dixon hired. I'm a Chuck Dixon fanboy, so there you go. I'm a big fan of Larry Hama. The guy was a musician, an actor, an artist, a writer, and an editor. The guy could do anything. Renaissance man. So here we have, just look at this classic Western. They're in the saloon and they're gambling. There's Jonah Hex over there in his Confederate outfit. And he's just watching the poker game, and they're like, "You want to play?" And he goes, "I don't play with cheaters." And he just pours a beer on him. Why? Because Jonah's that kind of a jerk. And they're like, "Who are you calling a cheater?" And he grabs the guy, and he sees that he has this mechanical device that could just, quicker than the eye, could insert a card. And of course, he's got the Ace of Spades up his sleeve, So he's like, you might want to get your money, give all your money back, and then get out of town. So he's like, what? So Jonah's walking out. The guy goes to pull his gun, and you don't pull a gun on Jonah Hex. You're damned if you do, but damned if you don't. Jonah just blasts him away, and he's pointing his gun at this guy. This is the main gambler guy. This is the big troublemaker. So he's like, do you want some shooting too? And he's like, nope, you made your point. I'm leaving. So he's like, look. Jonah takes that card gimmicky thing and walks out. See, he takes the card cheating thing and walks out. And this woman comes in minutes later. "Have you seen Jonah Hex?" And she's like, "Excuse me, I just missed him." And where would Jonah Hex be without a Crossman BB gun, pellet? Oh, these are pellet gun rifles. Do you see? Rifle ads in comic books, werewolves. Comic books were dangerous. Great magazine. And this woman, they're gonna mess with this woman, and she pulls out a knife and is like, he takes the knife away and takes her hostage, and Jonah Hex is like, he hears a woman screaming, and Jonah's like, "No, that ain't gonna happen around me. So you pull a knife on me, I'll teach you bad manners," kind of thing. And then here comes Jonah Hex. Jonah Hex may be a jerk, but he's not a bad guy, so he comes out, beats the crap out of everybody. He doesn't shoot them. Why? Because they don't pull guns out. So he beats them within an inch of their life. He's like, "Are you okay, ma'am?" And then he realizes it's Joanna. And who is Joanna? Joanna Mobsby. Jonah fell in love with Joanna in Jonah Hex number 4. Jonah Hex is a ladies' man. He's always getting the ladies. You know, big, ugly, dangerous guy. I guess I don't know. Women have a thing for big, ugly, dangerous guys. He's you know, he's a prickly pear, but he has a streak of honor. So I could see why people would like him. You know, and but you know it's doomed. You know it's doomed. Jonah Hex has a bad love life. You know, so he gets cracked in the back of the head by this guy. And Jonah's like, what's going on? What's going on? It's like, and here comes the guy who was cheating. Nobody messes with me. Why I oughta? And they tie him up, and the woman is protesting. And look at this. They take a sledgehammer, and they just crush his hands. And then Superman gets involved. The big fall, Superman. And Superman's a hero because he knows that cupcakes are delicious and fruit pies are of the devil. The Batman family, world's finest. These dollar comics. I've learned that DC did an experiment with these dollar comics because newsstands were threatening to get rid of comic books because for the space that they took up, they weren't as profitable as magazines. So DC said we'll make dollar comics, and then Marvel followed up with like giant size comics, you know, to compete with magazines in the newsstands. It was purely economical. I don't know how long it lasted. I don't think it lasted too long. So look, they just, you know, bashing. So they bash one hand, they bash the other hand. The woman is crying. You know, she's in love with Jonah Hex, and you know on time they take him to, and look at his hands all bandaged up. They pay for the doctor. Doctor's like, listen, you're never gonna fight again. Your hands are smashed. You know, he's like, I love this. She turns off the lights. He goes, I won't be able to hold you, Joanna. He goes, not with these. And she's like, these bandages wrapped her up, and they kiss and do the love of diamonds. You know, that's Jonah Hex is a real man. What are these? Stop the presses, direct current, special projects. Oh, so posters, cool. I love all the DC characters, but I just didn't like the comics. Look, they shade the changing band. Tell me that's not the greatest costume of all time. That Firestorm with the puffy sleeves. Yeah, we got some candy bars over here. These rich and famous candy bars, and then what is this? The Fun Factory ads. I love. Anybody ever order anything? You know, we all read these ads, and I'd like to see if anybody ever ordered anything. I never got this. I got a reprinted hardcover of this, but I never got that. Superboy and the Legion of Superheroes. I got this, but I didn't collect it at the time. I bought these in back issues, but all the rest of these I do not have. All right, so it's morning time, and she comes back from shopping, and what is he doing? He managed to cut his fingers out from the bandages. He's like, I could wiggle my fingers a little bit. I don't want to be helpless. So he's like, go and get me a Derringer. And he's like, what do you want a Derringer for? And he goes off, and what's he doing? He's not going to be helpless. You know, the doctor said he's never going to have the ability to fire guns again. Look at the fingers over here. So what's he doing? He's using that poker cheat extendo-matic thing. Boop, it pops into his hand, and he shoots, and he misses. Why? Because his hands are all beat up. And it says hour after hour, day by day, week after week of grueling. So he's just, you know, fire. And now with this Derringer, he's able to put out the flames on the candles. So there you go. You know what Jonah's doing. Come on, we all know. It has nothing to do with sea monkeys, but that would be cool if sea monkeys were involved, or Charles Atlas, or drafting kits. Look at this whole drafting table. That is pretty cool. All right, so you know he's loading the guns, and he's giving it practice with one more time. Pop, 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 and he's ready. So what do you think Jonah's gonna do? So he's, you know, going to get some revenge. So here's this gambler guy in the rich suit, and Jonah just comes out and starts calling out his men. And this guy's like, what are you going to do about it? You know, you can't do anything. You can't fire a gun. You're helpless. And poop, Jonah just boom right through the head, and then shoots this guy right in the heart. Remember, Derringer is a 2-shot. I forget the caliber of the Derringer, but it's the small gun, and that's always the stereotypical gun that, like, if you watch cowboy movies, that the saloon girls always carry, to protect themselves against, you imagine these guys are gonna be brutes that have visited the saloon girl. So you know what I mean. So they need some protection. So Derringer is always considered like a feminine weapon, but look, Hex has got to do what Hex has got to do. So these guys are dead, and he's just like, Oh, he's ogling the Jonah's woman, and he's like, "Why don't you come to a real man now that you guy can't?" And he's like, "Look, Jonah's back. He killed a couple of people." He's like, "What?" Just so he goes and gets a gun, and he's gonna go meet him, you know. And she's like, "I'm gonna buy a shotgun." And he's like, "What? Stay out of this. You know, you're a woman." So here comes he smokes cigars, chomping bad guy, and Jonah's meeting him, and he's just staring at him, you know. And he knows Jonah's hands are still bandaged up, and he's just staring at him and intimidating him. He's like, "Say your prayers," and the girl comes out. He's like, "What? Jonah, stay back." We all know what's gonna happen next. The girl fires, boom, shotgun, because she doesn't know that Jonah could fire the Derringer, because he's got a lot of faults, and one of them is his pride. He didn't want her to see him practicing. He didn't want anybody to see that he wasn't the best at something, so he was off doing it, you know, in secret. So she doesn't know that he's perfectly capable of defending himself. She's defending the man she loves. She shoots this guy, and then he fires, and of course she dies. Look at that. He gives up this little Derringer device, and he's just carrying off the body into the sunset. You know, that's Jonah Hex for you. For those of you who don't know, the name Jonah is a bad luck name from the Bible. Jonah and the whale. Jonah was he got swallowed by the whale, and you know, his ship got destroyed by the whale, and he fell off and he swallowed. So it's like a bad luck name. If you're a sailor and you're a Jonah, you're just bad luck. They'll throw you overboard, you know, in the superstitious days. It's just, so Jonah Hex. So he's got a bad luck first name and a hex. You know what I mean? So that's what he's supposed to be. He's supposed to be the bad luck guy. And, you know, read the comics. He never catches a break. In the very first Jonah Hex comic that I showcased, you saw his story that he ends up his last appearance, he gets killed and his body gets stuffed and put on in a curiosity shop. It's just, I couldn't believe that comic came out. That's what made me a fan of Michael Fleischer. So there you go. Jonah Hex number 11. Just, I can't get enough of these comics. They're so good. They're so fun. All right, I'll see you guys tomorrow with another video. Bye-bye.